Today we'll explore the inherent connections between well-being and justice, biology and behaviour, and the need for more integrated approaches. For millennia, communities have established guardrails to safeguard both individuals and the collective interest. We've relied on shared principles, trust, and a common understanding of behaviours that uphold fairness, respect, and accountability. In the face of mounting social turmoil and global conflict, we need even greater emphasis on efforts towards collective well-being and justice. It is critical to re-examine long-standing paradigms that shape our structures and systems, ensuring they align with both evolving value systems and contemporary scientific insights that support justice and human flourishing. Nowhere is this more urgent than in the criminal justice system, which remains rooted in pre-scientific worldviews that focus on blame, retribution, punishment, and outdated concepts of free will or willpower that fail to consider social and biological determinants of behaviour. Despite significant advances in neuroscience, trauma research, and behavioural genetics, legal systems still rely on outdated assumptions, much like the once prevalent belief that obesity stemmed from a lack of willpower or moral fibre. Just as science has overturned misconceptions about willpower and health, legal systems must also evolve towards fairness, human flourishing, and evidence-based approaches to accountability and rehabilitation. Ultimately, we must see the inherent connections between health and justice and move beyond fragmented, siloed approaches. Neuroscience can transform legal systems by integrating brain science with legal decision-making for a more rehabilitative approach. Concepts of neurolaw acknowledge how brain structure, environment, and genetics shape behaviour, informing humane sentencing, ethical forensic decisions, and improve mental health interventions. To create a truly just system, we must move beyond punitive responses and address the root causes. Our recent work with the legalome, a term coined by our own Alan Logan to advance the use of omics technology and microbiome science in forensic psychology, explores the legal implications of the gut microbiome's effect on mood, cognition, behaviour, and decision-making. A compelling example is autobrewery syndrome, where fermenting gut microbes produce ethanol, leading to intoxication and unintentional behaviours. Similarly, chronic consumption of addictive ultra-processed foods can drive neuroinflammation, cognitive impairment, and mood disorders, factors increasingly relevant to civil and criminal justice. This raises notions of culpability, emphasising the social, behavioural, and legal consequences of diet and gut health, and the need for a more nuanced understanding of biology and intent. The disconnection between modern science and legal frameworks has far-reaching consequences. Punitive models reinforce cycles of harm, ignoring the effects of childhood adversity, inequality, and neurobiology on behaviour. Research shows that many criminalised actions result not from moral failings, but from complex social and biological influences. This is also key to prevention. Accountability must extend to society when it fails to identify and protect the most vulnerable. With more supportive environments, many at risk might never enter the justice system at all. Our justice crisis is not separate from the deeper global spiritual crisis, one of suffering, disconnection, fear, and confusion. In this era of integration and convergence, we must recognise that addressing the underlying causes of despair and alienation benefits both individual well-being and societal harmony. This requires nurturing awareness, resilience, and emotional connection from an early age to counter persistent tendencies towards punitive thinking, fear of outgroups, and the joy of punishment. For example, encouraging a culture of forgiveness, while not a substitute for justice, offers a powerful inner capacity to break cycles of resentment and retaliation. Unlike justice or reconciliation, which depend on others, forgiveness is a personal choice with measurable physical and emotional benefits. Research from the Global Flourishing program at Harvard shows structured forgiveness practices improve mental health, reducing anxiety, depression, and division while increasing hope and overall well-being. More than a virtue, forgiveness is a public and planetary health imperative essential for healing and social transformation. This also calls for integrating insights from both neuroscience and wisdom traditions. Contemplative practices such as meditation reshape neural pathways, enhance impulse control, and foster personal transformation. Research on neuroplasticity reveals the brain's remarkable capacity for change, reinforcing the need for more mindful approaches that acknowledge both the material and the spiritual dimensions of human experience, not only to aid in rehabilitation, but also to prevent transgressions in the first place. Rethinking justice requires a shift from retribution to restoration, prevention, and healing. Recognizing the deep influences of early life experiences, trauma, and systemic inequality allows us to design policies that foster resilience, well-being for all from the very start. Justice systems that prioritize rehabilitation, education, and social support over incarceration are not only more humane, but also more effective at reducing recidivism and improving societal well-being. Of course, society still needs to protect itself, and we will discuss better public health quarantine models of achieving that today. Ultimately, this vision extends beyond justice reform to all societal systems, ensuring they promote well-being and prevent harm to people and our environment. Aligning justice with contemporary science and compassionate approaches is not just a legal necessity, it is essential for planetary health and global flourishing, supporting the full potential of individuals, communities, and the world we share. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our wonderful panelists. Each will speak for around 7 or 8 minutes, and I encourage you to explore their bios in the chat link to maximize their time. First, I would like to welcome John Callender, a psychiatrist who has written extensively on the need to bring science to the legal system for a more nuanced understanding of free will and responsibility, and with greater regard for the biological and social determinants of human behavior. Thank you and welcome, John.